let's like get into Bristol, because Bristol's coming up, and I wanted to hear what you thought about your past experiences running it. Obviously, that's like 20 years ago now, but do you remember? Do you remember finding
Oh
out
yeah,
you were going to race at Bristol, and
yes.
what did you think at the time?
Well, I mean, I think back then, back in the early 2000s, it was the Outlaws. We had Pennzoil, Freightliner, Rat Bag. The World of Outlaws actually in the early 2000s was, I think, good then as it is now. I mean, they were really doing things right. TV,
Yeah.
getting to places like Bristol. I mean, this is 20 years later, and now it's a big deal. We did it 20 years ago with Ted Johnson. We had Pennzoil, we had, Fortune 500 companies sponsoring the series and TV and, so they were doing it right back then. But I can say back then I was, 20 years younger. So you're in your 20s. It didn't matter to me that I was going to Bristol. It was, dude, this is awesome. Let's go. But I can say, and I think what you're getting to is the invitation only or things like that. Well, I think a lot of that has to do too with not only Bristol, but it has to do with COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we did the races at Knoxville, or you do the races at Eldora last year, it was invitation. You didn't hear anybody bitching about that. So now all of a sudden we get Bristol and we're bitching about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a lot of people that shouldn't go to Eldora, and there's a lot of people that shouldn't go to Knoxville. And I can assure you, there's a lot of people that shouldn't go to Bristol. It's an intense racetrack, and you not only have to be 110% as a driver, but your car's got to be perfect. Because a guy blows a right rear tire, or a bolt falls out of a radius rod, it could be very, very bad for not only him, but a handful of guys that get caught up in a wreck. Because a track like that, with a wall on the inside and a wall on the outside, there's really no room for air. I mean, if something happens, you're going to be right in the middle of it. So I applaud them for making it an invitation only, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
And
I know how much you love Eldora. I know when we've been together, you say, hey man, like I love that place, even though you've been hurt there and had some decent wrecks and that, but obviously you've had a lot of success there as well. Is that enough to entice you, at 48 years old, when you only race a few times a year? I'm sure if you got an invite to to Bristol, that you'd probably, like, where would you be at? I know you like going fast, but are you getting an invite?
Well, I think if I do know when we were down in Florida, they asked, my guys asked me about going. So I don't know if the Outlaws asked them about going, but I know they asked me, and I wasn't feeling that was a place for me.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that to be successful there, you're going to have to let it all hang out and be good. And you could easily get caught up in someone else's mistake. And where I'm at right now with my son and my family and my oil tanks, I don't need to be going to Bristol. It's not a place for me.
Yeah.
I've been hurt enough that I don't want to do that again. And it can easily be someone else's mistake can get you in trouble. So I'm going to watch it. I think it'd be way more fun.